Support for Iraqi Shia militias, 2003-present. In the aftermath of the 2003 U.S.-led invasion of Iraq, as the Ba'athist regime of Saddam Hussein crumbled and chaos engulfed the country, Iran saw an opportunity to reshape the power dynamics of its neighbor and cement its influence in Iraq. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, particularly its elite Quds force, wasted no time in exploiting the vacuum left by the collapse of Saddam's regime. Over the years, the IRGC cultivated and empowered a formidable network of Iraqi Shia militias, proxy forces that would become instrumental in advancing Iran's strategic objectives, challenging U.S. influence, and transforming Iraq into a crucial extension of Tehran's regional power. The foundation for Iran's influence in Iraq was laid long before 2003. During the Iran-Iraq War, 1980-1988, the IRGC had already established ties with various Iraqi Shia opposition groups, including the Badr Brigade, an armed wing of the Supreme Council for the Islamic Revolution in Iraq, SCIRI. These groups were trained, armed, and funded by Iran to wage a guerrilla war against Saddam Hussein's regime. When the U.S. invasion toppled Saddam, the IRGC saw a golden opportunity to turn these alliances into a formidable military and political apparatus that would safeguard Iranian interests in Iraq. As sectarian violence engulfed Iraq after the invasion, the IRGC stepped in to fill the power vacuum. The Quds Force, under the leadership of General Qasem Soleimani, orchestrated the formation, funding, and training of numerous Shia militias, each with its own identity, but united by a common loyalty to Iran. Among these groups, the most prominent were Kataib Hezbollah, Asaib al-Haq, Harakat al-Nujaba, and the revitalized Badr organization. These militias, collectively known as the Popular Mobilization Forces, PMF, or Hasht al-Shabi, would soon become Iran's most powerful instruments of influence in Iraq. The IRGC's strategy was not just to create militias, but to embed them within Iraq's political, security, and social fabric. Iran's support was multifaceted. Financial assistance, weapons, and training were provided in abundance, but the IRGC's influence went beyond military aid. Iranian advisors worked closely with Shia militia commanders, shaping their operational tactics, strategic planning, and ideological indoctrination. The goal was to create a loyal and deeply entrenched network that could both defend Iran's interests and challenge any attempts to diminish Tehran's influence in Iraq. The U.S. presence in Iraq was seen by Iran as an existential threat, and the Shia militias became Iran's primary tool for bleeding American forces and eroding their will to remain in Iraq. Between 2005 and 2011, the IRGC equipped its proxies with deadly explosively formed penetrators, EFPs, sophisticated roadside bombs capable of penetrating American armored vehicles. These weapons were responsible for the deaths of hundreds of U.S. soldiers and inflicted severe damage on coalition forces. The IRGC's strategy was clear: make the cost of occupation unbearable for the United States, while simultaneously consolidating Iranian influence. But the IRGC's involvement in Iraq was not just about confronting the United States. It was about shaping the post-Saddam political order to Iran's advantage. Iranian-backed militias infiltrated Iraq's security institutions, establishing a parallel power structure that operated outside the control of the central government. These militias became a state within a state, answerable not to Baghdad but to Tehran. The IRGC ensured that key figures within Iraq's political and security apparatus were loyal to Iran, creating a web of influence that extended to the highest levels of government. The rise of ISIS in 2014 presented Iran with an opportunity to further consolidate its grip on Iraq. As ISIS swept across Iraq, capturing vast territories and threatening Baghdad, the IRGC mobilized its network of Shia militias to counter the threat. The Popular Mobilization Forces, PMF, under the guidance of Iranian advisors, became the backbone of Iraq's fight against ISIS. The IRGC flooded Iraq with weapons, intelligence, and tactical expertise, turning the tide of the war and positioning itself as Iraq's savior. Qasem Soleimani himself was frequently seen on the front lines, directing operations and reinforcing the perception that Iran was Iraq's indispensable protector. The defeat of ISIS did not diminish the IRGC's influence in Iraq. It cemented it. The PMF, hailed as heroes for their role in defeating ISIS, gained unprecedented political power. Many of the militia leaders transitioned from the battlefield to the political arena, securing seats in Iraq's parliament and ensuring that Iran's interests were well represented in the corridors of power. Iran had effectively embedded its proxies within Iraq's political establishment, guaranteeing that Tehran's influence would endure long after the battlefields had gone silent. But the IRGC's support for Shia militias in Iraq was not without consequences. The unchecked power of these militias created a climate of lawlessness and impunity, where sectarian violence, corruption, and human rights abuses flourished. Iranian-backed militias were accused of committing atrocities against Sunni communities, deepening sectarian divisions and fueling resentment among Iraq's Sunni population. This sectarian polarization played directly into Iran's hands, allowing the IRGC to present itself as the protector of Iraq's Shia population and justify its continued presence and influence. The assassination of General Qasem Soleimani in January 2020 dealt a severe blow to Iran's network in Iraq, but it did not dismantle it. The IRGC quickly moved to fill the vacuum, ensuring that its proxies remained operational and loyal. Iran's influence in Iraq, while facing challenges from nationalist and anti-Iranian sentiment, remains deeply entrenched. The militias that Iran nurtured and empowered continue to operate with impunity, wielding both political and military power that ensures Tehran's leverage over Iraq's future. Today, the Shia militias that Iran cultivated through the IRGC remain a double-edged sword. They are Iran's most potent tool for projecting power in Iraq and beyond, capable of threatening U.S. interests and deterring Iranian adversaries. But they are also a source of instability, undermining Iraq's sovereignty and contributing to the cycle of violence that has plagued the country for decades. For the IRGC, however, the mission is far from over. As Iraq struggles to navigate its post-conflict future, the IRGC's grip remains firm, ensuring that Iran's influence will continue to shape Iraq's destiny for years to come. The Shia militias, forged in the fires of sectarian conflict and nurtured by Iranian support, are not just proxies. They are Iran's frontline soldiers in the ongoing battle to dominate the Middle East.